This place is amazing! Oh my god! It's unreal!
I can't believe what I'm looking at. But this map is showing a small island at the exact coordinates that Jeremy Wilson recorded. Holy shit.
Hey babe, it's me. I've tried 3 times now. I really wish you would have picked up. Wanted to hear your voice. Really want to hear your voice. All right. I found a guy who's gonna take me there, and hold on. Okay. All right. I have to go. We're actually gonna be heading out right now. So yeah. Okay. I have to go right now. So I love you. I love you, babe.
What I do know is that if I want to find Jeremy, I need to identify and locate that man he was with. I'm going to find my old friend.
Only a fool would be doing this. Am I a fool?
Okay, he said tomorrow morning he'll fly you out. You need the money transferred to him before you go. But tomorrow you go. You're going to the island.
I'm going to the island.
The best way to get there is entering from the east point on the beach. Okay, there's a tree on the cliff. That's a good indicator. It looks like a pretzel. The trunk is all twisted up. Look for that. It's big. It's easy to see from the shoreline. That's a good place to walk in from. Travel then west into the jungle about 200 yards, then break directly north about another 100 yards or so. That's where the lemon grove is, and the hatch. I'm going there tomorrow.
If I don't go looking for him, I won't be able to live with myself.
Time to get some rest. Shady, if for some reason you're watching this, I love you more than anything.
I'm staring at a short hallway, and there's a door. There's a door in front of me. It's closed. Alright, I'm gonna walk towards it.
They are coming now. They will find you. They will comb every inch of this island until they have you. Do you understand that?
Where's Jeremy?
Stay right there.
Where are you going to run to? You're on an island.
My name is Kathleen Goldstein. I'm an investigative journalist, and this is The Island in the Pacific. Episode 10. They Knew Too Much. It can be extremely difficult to go back and listen to both Matthew and Jeremy's voices, but these audio recordings that we have are special. They are time capsules from two heroes. A look into something we, as the human race, had no idea was going on underneath all of our noses. These recordings are a documentation of potentially the biggest cover-up in human history. Who was hiding the island? And what is going on down in that hatch? I'll explain all of that in just a moment. Here is audio from Matthew while hiding in the jungle, just before he went dark, along with the night sky. These are the last of the audio recordings from him.
I'm currently somewhere in the jungle, maybe half a mile away from the hatch. I don't know. I just ran. I ran as fast as I could. I think I've been heading south. I don't know who the fuck those guys were. They were wearing white lab coats, like long white lab coats, like a doctor would wear. And one of the guys came around the corner with a fucking shotgun. I thought I was dead. I thought I was fucking dead. The papers that I saw, the names on them, they were all recognizable. Like, and the hell do they have to do with all this? I grabbed papers and folders just as much as I could. I'd have to say I have a few binders full of material. I can only pray that the documents I have tell the story of this place. Holy shit. Oh my God. Holy shit. I can't believe this is all happening right now. Oh, holy shit. I don't think Jeremy, I don't think he made it. I don't think he's with us anymore. God damn it, what the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? I'm gonna keep moving south, but I'll lie low in the jungle tonight. My camp will be a target. I'm so fucking thirsty. I don't know if anyone's gonna ever hear this. If Birdman doesn't come for me tomorrow, I'm a dead man. If you're somehow listening to this recording, don't come here. And if you do, come prepared with SEAL Team 6. Kath, my family, everyone in my life. I love you guys. I love you all so much. I'll be going silent from here. Signing off.
you will no longer be hearing from Matthew Hentges. At least, for the time being. Matthew is not dead. He is in hiding, and for good reason. He knows a lot of secrets and has documentation about those secrets. Matthew made it off the island. The Mexican pilot, known as Birdman, kept his word and flew the plane back to the rendezvous point on the southern side of the island to pick up Matthew, the day after Matthew's discovery of the hatch. Matthew hid in the jungle all night after escaping from the hatch. He was able to keep a low profile until Birdman arrived with his Albatross seaplane to scoop Matthew off of the island, and just before a massive storm hit. After Matthew made it back to the mainland in Mexico, he contacted me, explaining that the hard documents he recovered from the hatch did indeed tell the story of the island, at least a portion of it. But before sending me copies of all the materials he recovered, along with all of his audio recordings, photos, and videos, he warned me. He gave me an out, an opportunity to release myself from this story, a decision to not connect myself to it, if I wanted out. Matthew warned me that my life, along with my family's, could be in danger if I moved forward with it. But running away from possibly the greatest uncovering in human history is not why I became a journalist. This is my job. This is my duty. And I wasn't about to let Matthew go it alone. So, here we are. I have decided to release this podcast as a message to the rest of the world. I am sending a flare up into the sky, a beacon, for those that are willing to help uncover the truth that I believe will change humanity as we know it. What is happening on the island? And why is it a mysterious, top-secret mirage in the middle of the Pacific Ocean? Who were those people that both Jeremy and Matthew discovered there? What is truly happening down in that hatch? And of course, the subject matter that initially brought us to the island, the missing Jeremy Wilson, whom we can only assume at this point met his demise somewhere on that island, likely by the hands of others. Due to my decision to stay involved with this case and create this podcast for the world to hear and to expose the truth of the island, I am also currently in hiding with my family. After this series is released, I will be keeping a low profile and will not have any further communication to the world until I feel it is safe to do so. It was a heartbreaking decision to do this with my family, and I feel terribly for them and the consequences of my decision. However, what I am about to reveal to you should help you understand the magnitude of that choice. This story is too big not to expose the truth, and it affects all of us. So let's get to it. I'll start with 3 categories: what we know about Jeremy Wilson, what we know about Matthew Hentges, and what we know about the island and can assume from the documentation that Matthew uncovered. I urge you not to skip ahead, due to the way Jeremy and Matthew have involved themselves with the ongoings of the island and how that information is pertinent to understanding all of it. So let's start with Jeremy. Going back to the audio recording that Matthew captured while down in the hatch, we hear a man approach Matthew and start questioning him. Matthew courageously questions him back. I'll replay the portion of the audio recording where Matthew asks him about Jeremy.
Where's Jeremy?
Who?
Jeremy Wilson, do you have him?
Oh, Was that his real name?
You know him. You know who I'm talking about then.
Maybe.
What did you do with him? Is he down here? Is he? Let him go.
That man you came looking for is no longer here.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Let's just say he has become one with the island.
No. No. No, no, no.
He shouldn't have been snooping around like you are.
No.
You have no idea what you have gotten yourself involved with. I'm sorry.
Matthew said later in his recording in the jungle that the man he confronted in that moment was wearing a white lab coat, like what a doctor would wear. That's a pretty specific item of clothing to be wearing. So, who was this guy? What was he? A doctor? A scientist? Someone doing top-secret lab research? The man in the hatch also seemed to be someone who proclaimed authority, someone who wasn't afraid to confront Matthew face to face. And the way he answered Matthew's questions about Jeremy seemed to imply that he very well knew Jeremy and had encountered him. And most chilling of all is the way that he spoke of Jeremy after Matthew confronted him about it. He said, "That man you came looking for is no longer here." And when Matthew asks him to explain that, the man in the white lab coat says, let's just say, he has become one with the island.
What did you do with him? Is he down here? Is he? Let him go.
That man you came looking for is no longer here.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Let's just say he has become one with the island.
Now, Matthew never physically saw Jeremy's body. If those men in the hatch had killed Jeremy because he was snooping around where he shouldn't have been, then buried his body somewhere on the island, well, we would have to take their word for it. At this point, Matthew obviously didn't have time to search for Jeremy's body under the circumstances. One thing you hear about in Hollywood storytelling is the phrase, no body, no death. Meaning, if you never actually discover the physical body of someone, then there's always a chance that they're still alive, somewhere out there. But this isn't Hollywood. This is a missing persons case, involving someone who had been missing for almost 2 months, and apparently stumbled upon a very dangerous situation. From what we know, and the evidence we do have, it is safe to say that Jeremy Wilson is deceased. His body buried somewhere on that island. What we know about Matthew Hentges, my friend, is that he risked his life to search for Jeremy and ultimately uncover a mystery that touches all of us. Jeremy did the same. They both approached this place, this island, with great curiosity. Explorers, looking for answers into the mystic. Matthew, currently in hiding, somewhere in this world, fortunately lived to expose the truth of it all. I have not been in contact with Matthew since he sent me all of the material for this case. Once those media transfers were completed, we wished each other good luck and said our goodbyes for the safety of both of us and our families. I know Matthew is still out there, still working on this case, still seeking answers. Both the contact, Matthew's ex-military American rendezvous in Mexico, and the Mexican pilot Birdman have also not been heard from since the pickup of Matthew off of the island. Matthew did tell me that he sent fair warning their way to leave town and seek protection. They were now connected to all of it. Knowing both of those men had involvement within cartels may be the one thing that can help protect them, somewhat insulated from those seeking them out. The island, a place on no maps, its blanket lifted, the mask removed, exposed, now discovered for all of the world to see. Here's what we know, starting with the place itself. This island has obviously been kept secret by very powerful people. People with enough influence to have it removed from satellite imagery. All of the maps you look at online, even documented paper maps, starting from a certain time frame in the past. How long ago? We don't really know. Remember Matthew's discovery of a book of maps in the San Diego library that showed a small speck of land, basically a dot, on an old Spanish sailing map from the 1600s?
All right, here's one. I want to be careful. These pages look a little fragile. Let's see. This map seems to be an old Spanish map, looks like, dating back to around the late 1600s. Obviously a reprint, not the original. Okay, let's narrow this down here. All right, I'm going to cross-reference the coordinates given to me. Hold on. Just double-checking this. Okay. There's something there. I can't believe what I'm looking at. But this map is showing a small island at the exact coordinates that Jeremy Wilson recorded. Holy shit. Sorry. Holy shit. So looking at these maps, if I were to triangulate where this so-called island is located, it seems to be centered between, let's say, Mexico City and Hawaii and the Easter Islands. That's a good, solid triangulation area. It's kind of in the middle of that, within that triangulation. I mean, within reason. Holy, I can't believe this. What is that?
From that discovery, we can say that there are likely some physical maps that were printed with the island's location on it. Let's break down what we factually know about the island. First off, its coordinates. These have been confirmed by both Jeremy and Matthew, as well as Birdman, the pilot. I am still keeping these coordinates secret from the public for the time being, for the safety of everyone. At this time, we don't need any cowboys to put themselves in danger by going out and looking for this place. It's not safe, and you could die by doing so. Please don't search. I have, however, reported the coordinates to some very senior people within a couple of the three-letter agencies of our United States government. Some old contacts that I have and trust. I can only hope that they are taking this matter seriously and will investigate for themselves. If nothing is done within a specified time frame by such agencies, then I will be forced to deliver the coordinates to the public. Something I pray I will not have to do. For standard reasoning that if nothing is done, then our own agencies could be involved with the island in some way. As a safety net, both myself and Matthew have set up timed email campaigns and online publication methods to the public if anything were to happen to either of us. This will include all of the documentation and media recovered from the island. So what's going on there, inside the hatch on the island? Examining that first may help us reveal who may be behind all of it and what their end game is. So here we go. Matthew's discovery of the paper documents inside of an office, down in the hatch, showcases the most astonishing situation on Earth. After poring over those documents, thousands of papers that Matthew was able to grab, I was able to get a pretty full sense of what's going on at the island. Those documents reveal a network of the most rich and powerful people on the planet. People you know the names of, many of them public figures, using the island to create what's known as designer clones. For decades, family lines have been manipulated to create DNA masterpieces using gene editing. What was once thought of as science fiction is now science fact. Scientists down in that hatch are creating genetically modified human beings, embryos cloned to their owner's specifications, grown inside the underground facility, distributed accordingly at a certain age, and then raised into various networks around the world to ultimately garner continued power and wealth within the family lines, generation after generation after generation. This has been kept secret from the rest of the world for at least 70 years. But Kathleen, DNA was only just discovered in 1953. That is actually not true. 1953 was the year that James Watson and Francis Crick discovered the double helix structure of DNA. But the DNA molecule itself was actually discovered back in 1869 by the Swiss chemist Friedrich Miescher. We can only presume that science was operating in an alternate, secret timeline from the one we know, the one that has been made public to us. I'd rather not get into the weeds with all of the science stuff. What we have to come to terms with is that there are, and have been, genetically modified humans walking the earth and operating within our global society for decades. What this process has ultimately allowed this elite group to get away with is supplanting these genetically modified humans inside of their family tree, and even outside of it. So what's so different than just having their own kids follow in their footsteps and take over the family business, you may ask? Well, not only do the documents show that most of these people have created a genetically modified superhuman into their family line, most of them multiple times, multiple children, so to speak, but they have also created human clones that operate outside of their family line. And what the documents show is that is the greater number of clones per each donor. They ultimately have more of these creations outside of their family than within. And when I say the word clone, that does not mean an exact replica of the original DNA. Remember, this DNA has been modified and designed to specifications. Therefore, it's not like there would be a bunch of twins or the same looking people walking around out there. They may have similar features, in some cases as their donors, but with a whole different set of results. What these people are doing is using their clones to position their self-interests in world politics, financial systems, and future generational power. What Matthew discovered is quite literally a cabal. The documents carve direct lines in the sand to specific people and their clone creations. These people have created super intelligent, physically particular, with lower at-risk medical preconditioned clones, and place them in positions of power to help manipulate the world around them. They spread particular political views, ideologies, and manipulation to ultimately achieve a designed world of their choosing. And that makes sense to have more of them operating outside of their family than within. It disconnects the name from the outcomes and keeps things moving in secrecy. Plus, it might start ringing alarm bells if all of these elites started ending up with 15 children. The rich get richer. The powerful get even more powerful. The chain, unbroken. And the average person has no idea that it's all happening right in front of their face, constantly working at a disadvantage to this elite group. What they have done is created family trees of a superior race. And it's not just white or black, Hispanic or Asian. No, it's all of it. Indecipherable by looking. They are hidden among us. Superior human beings who have always had the advantage. The rich and powerful pulling the strings of their real-life puppets, placing them in prominent universities, exclusive social environments, and creating job titles within industries of influence. I am holding off on releasing the names that are listed in the documents, out of concern for their safety, their family's safety, and my own, as well as Matthew's. For now. I understand that may be an unpopular choice. Why would I protect these people in any way? I want this to go through the proper channels first. Channels that have the ability to bring justice to the matter, not vigilantism. And after all, they are still human beings, people, fathers and mothers, brothers and sisters, and children. But I may eventually have no choice but to make the hard decision. What I will say now is that if you know some names of some rich and powerful people in our world today, there's a good chance they are on this list. Not everyone, but many. Presidents of several countries, congressmen and women, kings and queens and princes, dictators, oligarchs, oil barons, heads of multinational corporations, board members, CEOs, heads of financial banking systems, the pharmaceutical industry, all global, going on since at least the 1950s. When you see the names from the documents, it starts to become a lot clearer how this island was funded and how it has operated in secrecy for so long. Poring over these documents has been mind-blowing. As I continue to analyze many of these documents and keep connecting the dots to various people, I am stunned each and every time. The fact that this has been going on for this long makes me wonder what else I don't know about the world. What else is out there, happening under our noses? And is there just one of these islands? Could there be several, somewhere out there, cloaked in secrecy? One of the things I hope to truly be able to control is holding accountable those responsible for Jeremy Wilson's death. Those scientists, or whomever they are, down in the hatch. And if they had help from others, then who were they? When listening to the audio that Matthew recorded inside of the hatch, the other man that he was speaking to seemed to have a peculiar accent. From what I can tell, it was a blend of something. Part German, part something else. That could mean a million things. He could be from Germany or some Eastern European country. It could even mean that he is American, born in another country but mainly raised in the United States most of his life. We just don't know for sure. Jeremy described seeing a submarine out in the water off of the eastern coastline of the island. So it is a strong bet that whichever countries have a submarine arsenal could be involved here. However, there have been actual cases where regular, non-military folks were able to purchase a submarine off the black market. No joke, it's happened before. A couple guys from Miami once bought a decommissioned Russian sub that way. It's a true story. Look it up. So we can't completely point the finger at a particular country here. There just isn't enough evidence at this time to lead us toward any suspects, other than the two men who were down in that hatch. I have faith that my sources within a specific 3-letter agency will address the case, and seek justice for Jeremy. But I've thought about it. What if they want to help, but can't? Are blocked by superiors who may have some in or knowledge of the island and what goes on there? Even if those superiors don't know anything about the island, only that it's a top secret location not to be messed with, then their hands are tied as well. I would hope the recovered documents are taken seriously and championed by someone who also wants to expose the truth and hold all involved parties responsible. But that will require some serious courage to put yourself out there like that. The elite class has been known to handle whistleblowers in particular ways that keep those types of people out of their way forever. There came a time shortly after Matthew's return from the island that I knew I had to call Sadie Maddox and deliver the news of her fiancé, Jeremy. Matthew asked me to do so as a favor, as he had to quickly go into hiding and leave no traces behind. This was a phone call that no one wants to have with someone, a gut-wrenching fact of life that needed to be handled. I called Sadie several times that week. I continued to call, but she never answered her phone. I came to find out that Sadie Maddox was found dead in her San Diego apartment on August 26, 2024, from an apparent drug overdose. An overdose involving a broken hyoid bone in her neck and a needle of heroin still sticking out of her arm when police found her. Toxicology showed an obscene amount of fentanyl in her system, mixed in with the heroin. Broken hyoid bones are generally caused by strangulation, and that much fentanyl is generally used to put down horses. Neither the broken hyoid bone nor the amount of fentanyl were placed anywhere in the original coroner's reports. That was discovered by a family-hired coroner after they demanded a second opinion. The family has made those findings public. The coroner reported that Sadie had likely died a few days before she was discovered in her apartment, after a wellness check went out from her family. So, was Sadie Maddox murdered just a day or two after Matthew returned from the island? After he spoke Jeremy's name to the man in the hatch? Was Sadie then identified, hunted down, and removed by this cabal? Because she knew about the island? Because she had the exact coordinates for it? You cannot blame Matthew for that. It was not his fault for speaking Jeremy's name. How would he know of the consequences? We can only assume this group would have found Sadie eventually, living out in the open like that. We just couldn't get to her in time.
You see those cameras? Above you? Behind you? They are coming now. They will find you. They will comb every inch of this island until they have you. Do you understand that? You have no idea what you have gotten yourself involved with. I'm sorry.
Matthew's recording from down in the hatch reveals a monitoring system within the facility. If they had working cameras down there, with a line out being fed to God knows where, then we can assume Matthew was identified in that moment, along with Jeremy Wilson's identity. Facial scans and digital identification methods are pretty commonplace if you have the technology. This is what may have linked Sadie Maddox to being located in her San Diego apartment and presumably murdered. I just don't believe she pumped that much heroin and fentanyl into her system, while the potential rescue of Jeremy was so close. I also don't believe she broke her own hyoid bone. I believe someone strangled Sadie and jammed a needle into her arm to stage an overdose, considering her past with hard drugs, even though she's been clean for years. Whomever may be responsible for Sadie's death will be hunted down as well. I will do everything I possibly can to bring justice to the matter. Jeremy and Sadie, you both have my word. The underground hatch on the island seems to be an interconnected web of hallways and rooms, facilitating the mass creation of genetically modified human beings, designer embryos for the elite, ensuring their direct line to the most powerful positions on Earth. Another significant finding in the recovered documents highlights a rare mineral that is apparently only found on that island, a mineral documented in their papers as Fuente de la Juventud, translated from Spanish to English as Fountain of Youth. Combing through the data, I was unable to find anything that addressed the actual scientific name of the mineral, so we're not sure at this time what that could be. This rare earth mineral is documented in the files as a key element to the genome sequencing. Was this the whole reason that the island was selected as the top secret site? It could be. And if they are the only ones to have access to it on Earth, then I guess it makes for a pretty important piece of land. A piece of land they will do anything to protect. Whatever that mineral is, could hold the key to the success of this program. So where does all of this leave us? I honestly don't have the answer to that. I do know that the whole world is a different place than I thought it was. And I don't know if we can change it back, right? The world has changed. Or has it? John Emmerich Edward Dahlberg Acton, known widely as Lord Acton, a historian and writer of the 19th century, once wrote, "Power tends to corrupt, and absolute power corrupts absolutely." I completely agree with that sentiment. Maybe the world hasn't changed all that much after all. Maybe this breeding ground for the elite is just some extension of what has been happening for all of humanity's time here. Power cycles, class warfare, unattainable social boundaries, guarded at the gates by paid-off foot soldiers, keeping you and I out, keeping them insulated within, pulling the puppet strings of society. Did we ever really have a chance? I surely don't want this to turn into some op-ed piece, me ranting about fairness in our society. Playing the victim is never a good look. But perhaps it is more about taking control. Control over what we can in our everyday lives. I'm not here to start a revolution, only to expose what the world has a right to understand. Truths that citizens of the world have a right to know. To remove the veil that has been cloaked over so many for so long. Along with exposing this story, I am also here to state that I am not a crazy person. I have my faculties, I assure you. They will likely come from my character next. Attempt to destroy my career as a journalist. She's just some kook telling stories on the internet. I'm ready for all of that. It's usually their first play in the playbook, albeit a flimsy approach. I stand by my record. I don't regret getting involved with this case, and I know Matthew doesn't either. We're going to push on. We will survive this. We will expose everything. In the meantime, stay vigilant, ask questions, and keep your head on a swivel. I'll be signing off from here. Thank you for your attention and for listening to this story. I know you'll be one of the ones that helps us find the truth. Remember those 4 statues on the western bluffs of the island? The somewhat Aztecian-styled monoliths that showcased human figures overlooking the Pacific Ocean? 2 larger, adult-sized, and 2 smaller, child-sized statues. Cuatro dioses, the Mexican pilot kept saying to Matthew. Cuatro dioses. 4 gods. Well, I started researching Aztec mythology and their preyed-upon gods of the past and ancient times. One piece of information I found made me do a double take. Citing from Wikipedia. In Aztec mythology, creator gods are the only 4 Tezcatlipoca, the children of the creator couple Ometecuhtli and Ometehuatl, Lord and Lady of Duality, Lord and Lady of the near and the nigh, Father and Mother of the gods, Father and Mother of us all, who received the gift of the ability to create other living beings without childbearing. They reside atop a mythical 13th heaven, Ilhuacanto Omeocan, known as the place of duality. Music contributors are listed in the show notes. Please like, share, and follow to help support this podcast. And leaving a positive rating will also help get Jeremy's story to more people. This podcast is produced by Steel Valley Productions.